Hey there. So today I'm going to go over ACX. Today I'm specifically going to focus on some issues you may run into when you're uploading audio files to ACX and how we use a free program that is available online. It's called Audacity, and we use this free program to fix all of our issues so that when ACX returns things to us, we can fix things. When we have audio issues pop up, we can just get them back out and ready for approval, because ACX does take sometimes a little while to get your book through the approval process and on the shelves, and you don't want to wait any longer than you have to. If you have these audio files that you want to push, you don't want to be reaching back out to producers or hiring another person to fix your audio. This is a way that you can fix some of the quick issues you may run into on your own and be done with it. So keep watching. We're going to go over a couple things that I run into pretty regularly, and I'm going to show you how to fix them. So first, what I'm going to show you is one of our books. I've already got it pulled up, that we're having some issues with. This is a book that has a 7-book bundle that we're hoping to produce as a single unit on Audible. And the issue that we're running into, I will pull up in the back office. And what that looks like is here. We are going to go back to produce this audiobook. And I get this little issue here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into audio analysis, and the issue that we're running into, which is the first issue, is mixed channels. Now, as you see, I had only started uploading this third book onto here, and then I was having this issue show up, so I stopped uploading to try and figure out what the problem was while I was working on it. So what it is most of the audio files are in a mono audio file format, and this book hasn't been converted, and you'll run into this especially when you're working with multiple producers, because the producers, obviously they make the files for you, and if they're not doing multiple books, there might be slight changes in between the books. And what you can do here, you can open it into a audio editing software. Now, you can use whatever software you feel comfortable with, but for the purposes of this, I use Audacity. Audacity is a free software that you can get. Again, it's a very easy to use software once you get the hang of it. But for this specifically, this problem is the audio is mismatched. This is actually one of the easiest things you can fix. You're going to go into File, Export, and we're going to export it as an MP3. Now, when this pops up, you can see I've already started working on this. So this file here, we are going to force export to mono. And go ahead. One thing to keep in mind for later is this one. I'll go over that in a bit. But force export to mono, you're going to always make sure you do this when you edit. If your other files are in mono, you're going to want this to be in mono. If your other files are in stereo, you're going to want to uncheck this button and correct channel here, joint stereo or stereo, but for our purposes, obviously it needs to be in mono, so we're going to save. We're going to replace it because I did already make this file. This goes over some of the information. You can always edit these. Not super important for our purpose right now. Only takes a moment. And now we have the file. So I'm going to go back into this, and we are going to go to producing the audiobook again. Okay, so now that we're back in here, we are going to go ahead and edit the audio, and we are editing this replace. Go in here. This is the mono folder that we exported everything to. We're going opening credits, open, and now it's going to analyze this audio, make sure there's no other issues, and we're going to go right back to that audio analysis, and it's all fixed. So on that file specifically, on that book, I did have to go in and edit every single audio file to make sure that they were all outputting a mono audio, so that they would match the prior books that I've already uploaded. At that point, what you can do is continue to upload if that's the end of your thing. Now, right now, I don't have any other issues to show you, but I can go over some issues that I personally have encountered when I upload these files. The first one is when your audio is too high or too low. So I'm going to go ahead and open back up Audacity so I can show you where to find that. But what the issue is, it's called... So what I'm showing you here is a page on ACX actually discussing what the issue that I was running into. And I ran into this a lot on different files, and especially on files that were made by different producers, by newer producers, ones that just submitted the files and all of that. It's an RMS issue. So what it says here is RMS, or root mean square. It's a conventional way to measure the effective average value of an audio signal as well as the perceived dynamic ranges values of that signal. Each file needs to fall between a specific volume range of -23 dB and -18 dB RMS. By keeping all files within this range, not too loud and not too soft, listeners won't have to be constantly adjusting the volume of their playback device. So, to make it a little bit easier, it's like it says, it just makes sure that the volume of each file is consistent, that it is not too loud and it's not too quiet. And now I'm going to show you again in Audacity what I will do when I have this issue. Usually what ACX shows is an error message similar to the one that we had with the last audio issue. And it'll say that the volume is too low, and it'll tell you exactly where it is, or it's too high, and it'll tell you exactly where it is. And we can check that number in Audacity. So I'm going to go ahead. So we're back to Audacity now, and the first thing you want to do is select everything. I do that by hitting the Control-A buttons, and that selects all the files. We're going to go to Analyze, and you want to analyze contrast. So we are going to measure it, and this audio here shows it is within the perfect range. It is 23.8 decibels. It is not going to be messed up by Audible system. And so let's say the audio was too high. Now I can actually show you what that looks like. I'm going to go to Effects, Amplify. We are going to amplify it a bit. And you see it did get a little bit bigger. I'm going to go ahead and analyze the contrast again. And now it's showing still here. It did get louder, but it's still within the perfect range. Now these numbers work inversely. So the higher the number is in numbers, because it's negative, is the quieter it is. And then the lower the number is the louder it is. So let's make it quite a bit louder. We're going to move it up 5. See, it's quite a bit louder. So then we're going to analyze contrast again. And now you see it is far too loud. And now you say your file looks a little like this, and ACX didn't want to work with it. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Effects, and you are going to hit Normalize. Now we're going to normalize it there. Brings it right down to here. Analyze, contrast, right back within that range. And it works both ways. If your audio is too quiet, you can use Amplify. Again, that's right here. Amplify, you want it just one louder. Analyze, contrast, still within the range. This is a common issue because ACX is so particular, and it's really just for it's for the customer. and you want to make sure that the customer experience is ideal, and you want to make sure that every audio file is more or less around the same range, because that -23 to -18 is such a negligible difference that most audio files are going to fall in that same range, and then it's comfortable even if you're switching from one book to the next. These are two of my most common issues that I run into when I'm working with ACX, when I'm working with multiple producers, when I'm putting together book bundles like I am right now. And hopefully, if you have these issues, this helps you. If you have any other issues, the ACX page is always full of frequently asked questions, people asking questions. It's a great resource for that. And again, this program that I'm using today is called Audacity, and Audacity is an open source program that you can use to edit audio. It's good for a lot of different purposes. It's free. It works on Windows, Mac, and Linux systems. It's honestly a really simple program compared to some other audio editing programs, but it's free and it works really well for these purposes, because for the most part, what you should get back from your producers is going to be a finished product. It's just this little tweaking sometimes when you have the rights, and you are the one that's adding in the files and all of that, and it's not the producer's job. This is something that empowers you to fix things and get your book back into the review system, because when it comes to ACX and Audible, there is a longer review system, and it's good to have things just ready to go. So hopefully this was helpful. As always, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below. We'll see if we can help you or direct you to the right place. And hopefully this helps you get your books out on Audible.